the detective said missing kids usually come home. What happens when they don't?
Based on a true story.
Police looking for John Gacy.
We discovered bodies. By the looks of it, they're younger men.
The things he did to those kids. He's sick.
The system failed these families.
Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Do you know how many there are?
Up to you to find out.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Hey there, welcome to Why We Roll, a tabletop role-playing game design podcast.
We're your hosts, Chris Pickett, creator of the historical fantasy game Danse Macabre, and Wythe Marshall, creator of the political sci-fi game Stillfleet.
Throughout the show, Chris and Wythe hope to amplify new creative voices. We'll chat with different TTRPG designers, focusing on the world of indie games.
We take a curious approach to game design, working through a range of mechanical and narrative questions that are pertinent to many designers, players, and GMs.
We hope to showcase fresh and even challenging ideas about what makes imagination-based games just so powerful.
Okay, let's find out why we roll.
We are live. What's up, Chris?
Not much. How are you doing, wife?
I'm all right. I'm excited to play Danse Macabre,
which
I take it is the subject of today's Why We Roll.
It is indeed, yeah. And Why We Roll is a stream and podcast where we talk about tabletop game design, talk about mechanics, talk about things that we like, things that we don't like, generally taking, what's the word that we like to use, an ecumenical approach to design.
Yeah. And this game, which we're going to play, is a game you designed, which we talked about in a previous episode. And I'm very excited. I think it's really cool and enjoyed reading it and making a character, which didn't take long at all.
Yeah, great. How was the character creation process for you?
Pretty straightforward. I mean, I think you're going for a bit of an OSR. You don't have a lot of stats. Mm-hmm. But actually it's a little different. It's kind of a unique system. So that's fun to try to sort of parse when you really get into character creation. I think that's the first moment in a game when you're like, how good am I going to be at stuff? What am I, what's my specialty? And a lot of, the game is written in terms of character creation to be random. So I just went with that and sort of rolled everything randomly. So my age, my background, the gear I have, I mean, it's all basically just random stuff, and it makes sense. It adds up to a character whom you can easily imagine, in your head. Like clearly was like a veteran, and he's old. He's 51, and he's a veteran, and so he has some, equipment that someone who fought in these various late medieval wars would have. But nothing, nice. He's not rich or anything. So he has a sword still. Yeah. And he's got his helmet. And he's got, a leather, I guess whatever a gambeson is, right? Is that like a leather cuirass? Like a chest piece?
Yeah, you're correct. So it's either like wool, reinforced wool, or leather. It's kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons, it's usually referred to as like padded leather armor, or the next step would be brigandine, which would be like studded leather. But yeah, gambus, it's basically just like hard leather shirt that you wear over a tunic, which provides a little bit of armor support.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to go adventuring.
Adventuring. Do you want to introduce your supplicant, your character?
Yeah, maybe, I'm also curious where I am in time and space, but I think wherever I am, I'm a 51-year-old, I'm going to say veteran, named Galois the Bitten. Why am I the Bitten? Is it a metaphor? Is it about being hard bitten, like just a irascible, Liam Neeson-esque old guy? Or was I literally bitten by like a wolf? Maybe both.
Maybe both.
My backgrounds are hunter and brigand. Oh yeah, so that actually implies I was a professional hunter, and then at some point, as the world, went to hell, to l'inferno, I became, a highwayman. And my humor is choleric, so I'm temperamental and angry. So I'm getting vibes a la, Gran Torino, that kind of character. But I'm not going to lean into that too much. I think I'm more, I like the idea that I'm not just stereotypically an angry old man, just because I think that's too on the nose. Now, score-wise, which you wouldn't see, viewer, but scores, I have Vitality 3, so I'm not terribly robust, randomly determined, which makes sense because I'm getting old. So I think that's just like a creaking in the bones. My finesse is 8, so I've retained my incredible, hand-eye coordination. So that makes sense. Again, I was a hunter, good at shooting stuff. Although I don't currently have a bow at all. I have my sword, but no bow. And my insight is 5, so I'm, I guess, of middling intelligence.
Yeah, pretty decent. Pretty decent insight there, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, for those listening and watching, the game, those are the 3 main attributes. Is you have vitality, finesse, and insight. Vitality acts as both your HP, what we would think of as like your health points or anything like that in a tabletop role-playing game, as well as your strength. So we're going to be using it to, Wythe will be using it to roll a dice pool that is equal to his number of vitality. Anytime he tries to do something that requires, any kind of feat of strength or endurance. Finesse, on the other hand, is similar to dexterity in a lot of other games. It's your hand-eye coordination, it's your flexibility, it's your manual dexterity. Nice.
Just grab the dice.
And then, insight is, it's basically like your perception and kind of general mental acuity. It's not the same as intelligence or wisdom in some other games. It's a little bit more broad than that, but it has more to do with perception, being able to read situations, and also, just picking up on subtle hints, subtle clues in the environment as well.
Cool. So I feel briefed on the system. So it's a D6 pool system. So I have 66s in front of me. If I roll finesse, I'll just have to roll a couple of them again. Because I'm balling in that stat. I have my character made, and I'm still working on an image, but I'm kind of going with somewhere between, like a Liam Neeson-esque character and, more of a Patrick Stewart, like a little more of a, just reserved, like not necessarily like so cranky that like that's my thing, everyone knows me for. So I'll figure it out.
I think there's a lot of flexibility in terms of like the humors, right? I approach that as though it were an alignment in an OSR game. So instead of being lawful, neutral, or chaotic, you have the 4 humors, but you can mix them. You can be stoic, but also kind of quick to anger. I think that would still count as being cleric. You can really play it however you want, but that's kind of like the core of your personality, is that you do have some anger issues that you have to work out.
Yeah. And there was a whole, Hellenic Mediterranean cosmology around the 4 humors that fed into the medieval Christian and Islamic, imaginaries about bodies and minds. And it's such a different world that like we've kind of lost those things. So it's very hard. It's like you have to be a historian to sort of translate into humoralism, the modern, Freudian sort of like conscious, unconscious, id ego, superego, like dimensions. Like nothing really maps the same. But yeah, I think some amount of angry old guy is fine as a starting place, and I'll figure out how Galois is as I know more about the world. I'm very curious. It's been a while. I played in some fantasy games recently, but not a historical game. So I think it'll be interesting to kind of, as a bit of a historian, like try to imagine this person in actual medieval France and not like fantasy version of, you know what I mean? Yeah. So no elves. Let's go. Let's fucking do it.
No elves, no dwarves, no orcs. Just really messed up people. That's the fantastical element, is mutated, corrupted people.
Yeah. Which it's a nice metaphor for real, like papal, whatever. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
great. This
yeah,
is great.
exactly.
Sorry, kick it off.
Exactly. All right, yeah, let's jump in. It is the autumn of 18, or not 18, sorry. It's the autumn of 1390. We're going to cut that in the audio part. It is the autumn of 1390, and rumor of a Memento Mori, a famed item which, according to the whispers, might allow you to release yourself from this never-ending cycle of death and rebirth, which you're... Oh, actually, I should have asked you, do you have any starting corruptions that you rolled up?
I do not have any on my sheet. Was that a mistake, or is that correct?
That may be a slight mistake, but that's okay.
Oh, where does it say that I get starting corruption? Sorry, I must have missed that.
Let's see.
Healing
in the 1.2 playtest version, it's under age and background section. But that's okay. We can roll you up a couple right
now. Do I not have the right book?
Oh, maybe
has it been updated? I think I have 1.1. Oh, okay. Is it okay?
It's been updated since then. It's not a big deal. It's more or less the same.
We should double check that. Let me pause and get the book because I did not know that.
Yeah, they're more or less the same. There's just some slight changes between the two editions so far.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So, all right. So this version, we do not have the title page, but all right. So I may have to remake portions of my dude.
I think the only thing that you have to redo is just rolling the corruptions. Everything else.
Yeah, starting corruptions. Age. So I'd have 2 corruptions.
Yes.
Okay. So I just roll those and then go from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a D666, which means you're going to roll 1 D6 for the hundreds, 1 for the tens, and 1's for the one place.
Right. Okay, we'll say that the rubber dice is hundos, the porcelain dice is tenses, and the plastic dice is oneses. Nice. So I got a 4, a 6, and a 2.
4, 6, 2. Okay, so this is great. You are sauterelle, which means that you have the rear abdomen and legs of a grasshopper.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. So you got locust legs for the bottom part of your body.
Love that. Okay, just making a new entry on my character sheet here. That's, I remember that from French classes. Some French people have grasshopper legs. All right, so I should roll one more time, correct?
Yes.
For my second corruption?
Yeah.
Okay. 262.
262. Okay, you also have antlers. You have 2 sharp, multi-pronged antlers growing out of your head.
Daorian.
Yeah, you can use these to gore people with, which would basically be like a vitality melee attack. It does mean, however, that you cannot wear a helmet.
So should I ditch the helmet that I have because it's pointless?
Yeah.
And that frees up a slot, right?
It does.
So, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this leather helm, which means my defense drops to 2. But now I have 10. I have 2 free slots. Okay. So 9 slots total. 7 of them occupied. All right. Great.
Nice.
Now imagine Liam Neeson, but with antlers and huge grasshopper legs. I'm going to say of the striped variety, sort of the leopard, pattern.
Oh, yeah. I love
crickets.
that. Yeah.
Those guys.
Variegated grasshopper legs. Yeah, fantastic. All right, we're going to rewind. The tape goes back. It is the autumn of 1390, and you have found yourself in Normandy, in the northwest of the abandoned realm once known as France. There has been rumor that's brought you here of a famed Memento Mori, a mystical item that is said to be able to break the cycle of death and rebirth. Kind of the general rumors that the rumors that you've heard are that if you hold one of these while you're dying, you don't wake up again. That's just what people kind of whisper from all the way from villages to keeps. But yeah, you have arrived in a small village south of the city of Caen, which was destroyed about 50 years ago when the English invaded through the English Channel. But yeah, you are in Evry-sur-Orne, which is a tiny, sleepy fishing village, which is along the River Lorne. It is, it's super small. There's 7 or 8 timber houses. All of them have thatched roofs that are just kind of scattered along hillsides that rise up from the river. There's muddy dirt paths that kind of connect everything together, and a small marketplace in the middle of town. The only other landmark or point of interest is that on one of the hills to the east, there is a small kind of Romanesque limestone chapel or abbey that is sitting on top of a hill overlooking the town. You've arrived in the early morning, made pretty good time getting here. The sky is very densely overcast. It looks like it's threatening to rain, so it's very gloomy and dark in these kind of early morning hours. I might get this wrong. I think in the canonical hours it would be Vespers. I don't quite remember.
Vespers is dusk.
Vespers is dusk. Oh, okay. I don't know which time it is. Matins, maybe.
Yeah, Matins is dawn.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, in the early hours of Matins. But yeah, you approach the village. You're coming from the east, and basically you don't see much activity happening. It's very early. There's a few men and women who are kind of wading into the river, doing some fishing with nets and like kind of spears or harpoons. In the marketplace, you see a couple of people. There's a woman who's sitting next to a rack of drying eel and fish. And she's currently gutting an eel. But you notice that she's not using a knife to do it. She's actually just using her left hand, which has been transformed into a crab claw. Basically just a sharp pincer that she's using to kind of scissor up into the belly of the eel to remove its innards and prepare it for salting and drying. You also see a peddler who's kind of fiddling about with his wares. He's getting ready for the day, just getting items out, sorting them, making sure that they're looking good for sale. And you notice that as he moves, a kind of strange after image follows behind him everywhere he goes. The last person that you see is there's a maybe, you're pretty advanced in age for this time period. But there's a woman who is even older than you are. This woman looks ancient. And she's sitting on a stump in front of a timber house, a hut, really. And she's attempting to do some embroidery. And you notice that the hoop that she's using for embroidery is being held in her left arm, which is the same arm as a bear would have. It's kind of long. It has a shaggy grayish brown coat on it, and it's tipped with 5 black claws that are kind of awkwardly holding this hoop, as in her right hand she's doing her embroidery work. The hoop keeps kind of like slipping, and you can hear her kind of like cursing at it. The other strange thing about this woman is that she would be very, very short, very small, but she has a strangely long, like 3-foot long, thin neck that's kind of like craning out of her torso and like kind of awkwardly stooped and craned over her embroidery work. The sun is hidden by the clouds, but there is some light that's starting to filter in over this gloomy village of Evry-sur-Orne. That's what you see when you approach.
All right, and I'm traveling here because of the rumors of the Memento Mori, right?
Yeah. So everything that you've heard so far has basically just brought you to this village, maybe like in an inn or a bathhouse somewhere outside of Paris. Somebody said that they had heard something about every Sir Orn having a Memento Mori, and that's what's brought you to this village.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I hate Normandy. This is like the same as going all the way to England, but without the benefits of the channel. You know, seeing the lovely channel and the fish. Look at this. These fucking Normans. Yeah, I guess I sort of nod curtly to folks as I'm walking through town. I think I'm wondering who would know about a Memento Mori, and I'm guessing people doing normal stuff might know, but is there possible to just try to play it cool, even though I have cricket legs and antlers, but try to like not draw too much attention and just look around and see if there's someone who looks knowledgeable and or in charge of every Sir Lorne.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can definitely play it cool with antlers and cricket legs. I mean, the corruptions are not a rare thing in this time period, right? It's like a lot of people have corruptions. Most people, in fact, that you see have some kind of corruption. It'd actually be stranger to see someone who would be around your age without, any kind of mutation on their body.
Cool.
So yeah, people, you come in, you give a curt nod to some of the villagers who are making their way to the river. They give you an even curter nod back, if such a thing can exist. They seem pretty distrusting of you. It's a small community, relatively isolated, so they know everybody who's around, all that good stuff. So yeah, they kind of like, give you a what's up, but they don't look happy to see you. Yeah, as you kind of get towards the center of the village, that's where the marketplace is, and the peddler starts kind of calling out to you, seeing that you're obviously not from here, you're a traveler. You can hear him kind of like calling over your shoulders, like, "Hail, traveler, do you need goods for the road?" And at that, the old woman with the bare arm kind of like crooks her neck in an odd angle to look over her shoulder at you. But then shakes her head and then turns back to her work.
How does eating work? Do I need to buy food or can I just soldier on?
Yeah, so you will need to buy food at some point. Basically, every time you take a rest, if you would like to heal during that rest, you have to consume a ration's worth of food. So it's like, I kept it pretty light, pretty simple. There are rations, there are quality rations. They have like different levels of healing properties when you rest. But yeah, you can buy rations. You can also usually, if you wanted to buy like any other kind of food, like when I was playtesting with Jen last night, she bought some dried eel from the crab lady. And we just counted that as rations because, just stack it all up together.
Yeah, I would assume it's like a generic measure of nutrition, not like a specific dish.
Yes, yes.
And we don't start with any rations, right?
So in the 1.2, you actually do. You start with 1d3 rations.
Okay.
So yeah, you can roll that up, see if you have some food already.
I start with 1.
Okay.
So I have some food.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wave these people off, and just keep looking around.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to see. There's a couple of kids that have kind of come out of their hovels and they're starting to play. You do notice that the doors to the abbey that's sitting up on the hill kind of swing wide, and an abbot does make his way out. You can tell just from like the habit that he's wearing. He might have like a small mitre, like a little. The Pope's hat is called a mitre, but this is like a smaller, less ornate mitre. But you can tell that he's an authority figure in this village. And yeah, he's going out to the Abbey garden and just kind of looks like he's milling around in the garden, maybe checking to see if his turnips have ripened or not.
I follow him discreetly and watch him look at turnips, and I also look at the turnips and try to think of something witty to say about turnips, probably from like a popular song or Like, oh shit, is there a verse of the Bible about turnips, the wisdom of the turnip, something, the little turnip seed who could, the little turnip seed who fights Behemoth and saves the walls of Bethlehem. I don't remember. And I try to get I would like do one of these, like, good sir, your eminence, etc. I'm standing here.
He
crouching, I guess. The legs crouching,
Yeah, how does a grasshopper stand on two legs? Is it just a constant crouch? I don't know.
As we all know from Pinocchio, it depends if they're wearing a vest and a top hat. So I don't have those accoutrements. So I think I'm just crouching like a normal cricket grasshopper. Orthopteran.
You do have a gambeson on, though. That could be your Jiminy Cricket vest.
That's true. Yeah.
You just kind of like hold it like this, a little straighten it out.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm doing awkwardly. Like Napoleon also did that. So maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I'm looking as informal, but like chill, but also polite as I can.
Gotcha.
So not like sloppy, but not like a menacing brigand, but just like a normal passerby.
Yeah, trying to be as normal as possible. Well, the abbot, he turns to look at you, and you can see he's got like a look of just annoyance in his eyes. He says, "Oh, another traveler come to steal my turnips, eh? Well, these are God's turnips, and you would be loath to touch them." And he kind of like, he's carrying a crosier, like a staff with a cross on top, and he kind of like pokes it at you, not hitting you, but just kind of like trying to ward you off a little bit. So he obviously takes you for, some kind of threat for whatever reason. You do notice as he's speaking, his teeth aren't teeth. They're actually pebbles of granite, which are kind of stuck into his gums. And as he's talking, like when his teeth clamp together, when he's speaking, it makes like a grinding noise. And he's an older man, but some of the skin on his face, neck, hands, arms, anything that's exposed, you see like flecks of tree bark, like oak bark, growing out of and on top of his skin as well. But yeah, he's an older man. He's wearing a black woolen cassock, and he's trying to get you away from his turnips right now.
No, I don't need your turnips. I'm here for another reason. You can relax. I'm trying to show that I am respectful but informal, relaxed. You're not picking up on subtle social clues. It's almost like society itself has dissolved. How annoying. Look, I need to know about, hey, and I like lean in, again, not like to scare him, but just like to close the space between. It's like a Memento Mori.
Oh, at the mention of the Memento Mori, he looks slightly aghast, and he crosses himself, makes the sign of the cross, and says, "What need of ye for such a terrible item, traveler?"
Terrible. Well, I thought many people might seek it because now none of us can die, and we come back, and I sort of gesture at like my legs. We come back stranger and stranger, and perhaps this is the apocalypse, and God is punishing us. But if it's true that you can be cleansed through the Memento Mori, and maybe I can one day meet, my family in heaven. I mean, that's generally the gist of why everyone wants these things, right? Am I missing something? I'm like looking around like at an invisible audience.
You can see that he relaxes a bit. He says, "A test, stranger, a test. I had to make sure that you weren't one of those brethren of the Deathless Lamb, that cult, those heretics who seek to destroy the Memento Mori so that we all must die in this dance over and over again." He says, "I know now from your words and your countenance that you are not among their flock. So I welcome you to every Sir Orn. I am Abbot Matthew, and if you're looking for such an item, I may be able to help point your way."
Oh, merci. Yes, this is a wonderful shithole that you have established, and the turnips, I'm sure, would be delicious and nutritional and whatnot. I have lived a long time and killed many men, and my whole family, my lovely wife, all slaughtered. now presumably risen from the dead. Unclear. I can't find them. I just want this thing. I want this all to be over with. I weary. I'm very weary. So if there's some way I can maybe help out, I'm not great with the turnips. I was a hunter. I'm pretty good at taking down a deer, maybe a rabbit. You have a rabbit in the yard somewhere. I will find it for you. Then you tell me about the artifacts from heaven, and there you go.
Okay.
Jean's your uncle.
He looks at you pretty sternly, but he looks you directly in the eye and he says, perhaps our goals are aligned, traveler. I can help you and you can help me. You see, to the south, there is a keep, which is the home to a band of brigands, said to be led by the famed routier, Henri le Ravageur. And I don't know if you've heard of this guy or not. You can maybe make an insight.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do some insight. Chris, I might have lost you. My Wi-Fi is not good.
Are we back?
I think so. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I think maybe my Wi-Fi is crapping out now. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, let me roll.
So you'll make an insight check. You're going to roll a number of d6 equal to your insight score. And then a 4, 5, or a 6 is a hit, and 1 through a 3 is a miss.
I got 3 4s.
3 4s. Okay, so 3 hits. You have heard of Henri le Ravageur before. You're not from Normandy, as you already established. You don't like being here, but this man's. We'll say, like, you have some banditry in your past. You have some brigandry. So maybe around a campfire or two, you have heard tell of Henri. He is an English mercenary who was present at the sacking of Caen, which is the city just to the north of where you are. And in, I think, 1349, the English came over the channel and laid waste to the entire city. They meant to capture it. It ended up going wrong from there, and the city has just been in ruins ever since. But the rumors say that he was there, and that after Caen and after the kind of successive campaigns that happened, he stuck around in Normandy and has just continued to hire himself out as a sellsword, but also just to kind of generally pillage and terrorize the countryside. One of the rumors that you've also heard about him is that he is known to collect strange and expensive religious artifacts. He's particularly interested in anything with religious or mystical significance. Abbot Matthew tells you that Henri le Ravageur is living near Evry-sur-Orne in a keep that is about 1 day's walk to the south of where you are. And he says, if you can drive out the bandits, that would be a boon to me. In fact, it would be a boon to the entire village. You see, they make their way north through the forest every now and then and terrorize us, stealing whatever livestock and goods that they can, knowing that even if they kill us, that we'll just come back to produce more. So if you can drive them out, that would be a help to the village, but at the same time, you may be able to find what you're looking for. You see, Henri is known to collect religious items of some significance. And if anybody in this wretched place in Normandy would have a Memento Mori, he's probably the man to have collected it.
So question, how does this work with ravaging when people can't die? Is it just like they're annoyed, or it's the threat of the corruption? You know what I mean? Like, what is the social dynamics of being a brigand in this age?
Yeah,
which I imagine my character would know from doing it.
Yeah, it's more the threat of the corruption, because as your character would know, if you become corrupted enough, you lose yourself to madness. And people, there's different, like in different places, they call it different things. You can be called demoniac, you can be called possessed, all of these things. But you essentially seem to lose your mind and become just a monster. You are no longer yourself. So even though people don't necessarily fear death in the same way that they used to, they do fear this loss of self, or this kind of like transformation into a demon or a possessed or, whatever, becoming overly corrupted.
And how long has the corruption been happening? So how is society, because it seems like there's still semblance of normalcy, like in every Sir Orn.
Yeah, it's
presumably in Paris.
It's been about like 30 years at this point. So Paris actually is also just in ruins. That kind of happened between like successive peasant uprisings of jacqueries, but also like, local lords and other, routiers basically just coming and plundering the city because they were no longer so afraid of death. So Paris is in ruins. And really the economies that still exist are just kind of like these small village economies.
Yeah, so it's a vibe of like a zombie apocalypse setting in that it's like enclaves that are small. There's not much political economy as such because there's now just like monsters wandering around.
Right, yeah. People still use the currency just because, like the denier, it's silver penny, it's actual silver, it's precious metal. So there is some like trade value left in it. But it's rapidly becoming more and more rare to see coinage. It's more just going back to straight barter trade. Yeah.
And Cannes was sacked like 50 years ago or something. So like that's been a minute.
Yeah, that's been.
So I would have been like a little kid or newborn. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I tell Bishop Matthew. No, not Bishop.
Abbott. Yeah.
Abbott Matthew that I will take care of his. Two birds, one stone. Which I could actually say in French. Now I think about it, but I tell him that I can take care of his brigand problem, get this Memento Mori, and then I will see him, at the side of the Christ, when we're all hanging out, we're all doing a thing where you roast food around a fire together, and you go and pick the food you want, and you roast it, and you're sharing. I go in an overly long way describing like a barbecue situation. All right.
Since there's
I just like step backward. Yeah, Homer Simpson into the hedge. Yeah. He gave me what I need. Like I know where to go now, or do I need like to find something else to sort of? I mean, I know he just said south, but I just follow Lorne down.
Yeah. He said it's about a day's walk to the south. You'll be able to find this keep. And yeah, I mean the River Lorne does it flows from south to north, so you can just follow it in the opposite direction. But you can also see from the hilltop that you're on overlooking the village, there is like a horse track. There's like a single horse track that is going south into a kind of wooded area.
Okay. I follow the horse track in the bushes a little bit, or like not too far in the bushes because I'm old and it's annoying and I'm annoyed by the bugs and I keep falling. But I'm trying to like not be immediately visible if they're brigands, so I can get the jump on them. But yeah, I'm proceeding cautiously down toward the place he told me about.
Nice. So you're following this track leading south out of every Sir Orn, and yeah, it's very muddy. It's been churned up by a couple of carts, some horse hoofprints, footprints, things like that. So the travel is not easy, especially for someone of your advanced age. But luckily, you are still pretty lithe, which is good. As the path winds into the tree line, it is just swallowed by darkness. It's like mid-morning at this point. There's some light, but it is pretty dark in the woods. You see the River Lorne steadily flowing northward, just to the west of you. You're kind of on the east bank of the river right now. Well, not kind of. You are on the east bank of the river right now. And to the east, there's a hillside that's kind of rolling upward, crowded with more dark trees and strewn with limestone outcroppings. The gloaming sky continues to threaten rain as you trod through the mud. And after about a couple hours of kind of trudging through this mud, you find yourself at a crossroads. There is a path that goes off of the main road that heads west, And you can see, even from where you are, from your vantage point, there's a small kind of footbridge that goes over the river at a fording spot. And then to the east, the path just kind of continues, but it seems like it gets a little bit darker, a little bit more overgrown on the eastern side of the path. However, as you are taking all this in, as you're, figuring out which direction you want to go, you hear a low growling coming from the underbrush. And you turn around to see 3 wolves who are kind of darting around in the underbrush. They're definitely scoping you out. It doesn't seem like they're necessarily ready to attack. One of them kind of like creeps out. He sticks his head out, and then a little bit more of his body comes out from the underbrush. And you realize that this wolf doesn't have the kind of typical 4 canine legs. Instead, it has 8 arachnid legs, which are sprouting from kind of like chitin on its underbody, coming outward. But yeah, this wolf is growling at you. It has its teeth bared. You've spotted at least 2 others that were in this pack with the wolf, but you don't know where they've gone at this point. What would you like to do in this situation?
Well, I mean, I think I've tackled wolves before, literally, hence being bitten. I'm pretty annoyed at these wolves if they're gonna slow me down here. I'm on my way to oblivion, sweet oblivion. So yeah, I mean, I draw my sword, and I guess if it's possible to scare them off. I don't know if I would know, like, are these like hellish demonic wolves who will not be easily scared off, or can I, like normal wolves? I think you could argue, you could tell to fuck off by waving a sword and running at them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, it seems like they're still acting as wolves would act. It doesn't seem like they're, like particularly rabid or particularly aggressive. But yeah, they're just acting like wolves. So you could probably make a safe assumption that they're not corrupted to the point of that kind of like possession or insanity quite yet.
Okay. Excuse me. That I'm going to try to, just like get them to scatter. And is it dark? It's dark now or no?
Yeah, it's fairly dark. It's not, it's not nighttime, but it's pretty dark in the woods for sure.
Okay. Question: I have 1 torch.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to light that in order to see at night? And if I don't, will I suffer, disadvantage or something?
Yes.
Is that the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's not in the rules, but it's kind of assumed that you have like a flint or something you can use to light a torch.
That might be good to clarify, like the food rules, the light rules, if those are things you want to be crunchy in the game,
Yeah, the food rules in the 1.2 version, the food rules are in there. They're clarified there.
Got it.
The light rules do need to be built out a little bit more. Even just saying, like, you have a flint on your person, it doesn't take an inventory slot. These are just kind of the assumed items that you have on you.
Yeah. But like how you use it, like is it 1 per night or whatever, right?
Yeah. Torches last 3 hours each of like continuous burn. So that's like a thing that you have to track. But no, I agree. That needs to be built out a little bit more.
Okay. So right now I am all right, so yeah, can I roll to intimidate the wolves? Is that a possibility in the game?
Absolutely. I would have you make an insight check. And what we're going to do an opposed roll. So the wolf is also going to roll insight. And if you match or exceed the number of hits that the wolf gets, then you successfully can scare it off.
Okay. Wolves are pretty stupid, but still, I'm pretty angry. I think this is where my choleric temper kicks in, so I'm going to use this to gain advantage.
Yeah, great.
To scare off these wolves, because I am also monstrous. So I think I rear up on my cricket legs and brandish my antlers, and I'm waving my arming sword crazily, and also waving the unlit torch, just to have 2 things happening.
Yeah, love it.
And I'm yelling a body soldier's song or hunter's song, but like yelling it in like a more metal, staccato way at the wolves. All right, let me roll my 5 dice for insight. All right, I got a 5, a 6, a 5, and a 5. Oh, that's pretty
That's
good.
very good. Yeah.
Waste of advantage there, but I guess I'll roll again, see if I get all successes. So that's 4 successes.
So the way that advantage works is that it makes it so that a 3 or better is considered a hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. You don't reroll.
Right.
Okay, so that would still be. It'd be 4 successes either way.
So yeah, you raise up on your cricket legs. You take kind of if you like fully extend your sauterelle legs, you can achieve a pretty good height over this wolf, bearing down on it, singing your body song, and eventually, like the wolf kind of like growls at you a little bit more, tries to like snap, make it seem like it's not threatened, but then eventually kind of like shrinks away. Its ears go back, and it just runs kind of back into the woods by itself. And then after a few minutes, you hear it like kind of running away, breaking some twigs and whatnot. But then after a few minutes, there's just silence around you.
Great. I just keep singing and walking for a while. And I guess you're saying east is darker, west there's a little bridge over Lorne.
Yes.
And I have no idea, like the abbot didn't specify what I'm supposed to do at this juncture.
No, he didn't. Both of them, I mean, you can tell they both go southward, but just one is southwest, one is southeast. So you can stay on the eastern bank of the river, or you can cross over to the west. I will say something that you notice with your hunter's eyes and with your brigand's eyes is that the western path seems to be like particularly pocked with signs of traffic. So there's a lot of footprints, a lot of foot tracks that are going to and from over the bridge. And they kind of more or less stop where the crossroads is, but around the bridge there is a lot of traffic going back and forth.
Okay, but that could be a good sign. If there's people with the Memento Mori, then I need to find people. And in the other way, it just looks like there's no dark woods. So I think I'm going to go that way, but I now need to be careful, not about wolves by being loud, but about people by being quiet. So I'm quietly cursing Abbot Matthew for being so tight with his details. Why didn't he tell me about this crossroads and making a choice? Like, it's very simple. Just say go west, go east. All he said is south. Great.
Yeah. We cut away. The camera pans away to Abbot Matthew fixing up the reliquary in the abbey, and he sneezes loudly and then crosses himself, and then it cuts back to you.
Yeah, that's how that works. That's how that karma works. Gave him a sneeze. Yeah, so I guess if it's dark, I don't want to light the torch because I don't want to be seen. So I guess mechanically I'd suffer some sort of disadvantage, but at the same time I'm trying to remain hidden.
Yes.
So I will go with that and continue traversing the road, and not on the road, but in the fully in the bushes, like hiding hunter style. However long it takes. I'm it's about the journey, not the destination.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's not true. This is the memento is all about the destination.
Yeah.
So.
But it's the friends we make along the way that really make up the journey.
Crab claw lady. Nah, I'm good.
You don't want to be friends with the crab claw fishwife?
I mean, I wifed you, but I don't think Galois does. I mean, it's a pretty miserable existence for these characters. They're like, please let me find a magical artifact to end my life.
It's pretty bleak.
It's pretty bleak, yeah.
Yeah, so taking your time, kind of picking through the underbrush, staying adjacent to the path, but you eventually make it to a break in the trees, and you see in front of you there's a kind of a small clearing, maybe roughly 50 by 50 feet, not huge, but a little clearing. So some sunlight again, which is very filtered, coming through the clouds, coming down. You can see into this clearing a little bit better. There's one particularly large oak tree kind of in the off center of the clearing. And underneath the oak tree, you spot a small, like densely smoking, kind of wet campfire that's sending out like billows of black smoke up into the boughs of the tree. Around the fire, you notice that there are 3 men. It's just dark enough. There's just enough shadow being cast in your direction from the small campfire that you can't quite make out any of their features. But you can see that there is one man who's like laying on the ground in front of the fire. It seems like he's kind of like, in repose. He's relaxing, not asleep, but he's kind of on his elbow. I don't know, kind of a sexy pose, I guess. And then the two other men seem to be doing just like chores. One of them seems to be scrubbing out some cook pots. The other is gathering some firewood and tinder for their campfire. You can't hear them. You're a little too far away. But yeah, that's kind of what you see coming up to this clearing.
Okay, so there's three people. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's this odalisque figure.
Yes.
And then two others working. What do they look like? Do they look like brigands, or do they look like people who would have a religious artifact, or is there a Venn diagram that seems obvious somehow?
I mean, there's probably a Venn diagram. Make an insight check for me.
Okay.
We will do this with disadvantage since it's a little bit dark and you're a little far away.
So disadvantage in this game is?
So a hit would be a 5 or a 6 on a dice.
A 5 or 6. Okay. I rolled pretty well still. I got a 4, a 4, so those are not hits. A 2, those are not hits. And then I got a 5 and a 5.
Okay, so you got 2 hits total.
Yeah.
All right, so you, from where you're standing, you kind of try to like espy more information about these people. But again, like just kind of the gloaming sky and the shadows cast by the fire make it so that you can't really tell. Yeah, damn you, clouds.
Yeah, I've been yelling at the clouds all day, and now I'm like yelling at the darkness and yelling at a fire. Like I think Galois' thing is he's kind of weirdly more angry with non-humans than with humans. He's just kind of like annoyed.
Yeah. I love that. And
he's like that species of old man. He's like, this stupid, my boot. Yeah. Like it's my boot's fault. I can't put it on correctly. It's like not his fault for like stubbing his toe.
That's great. All right, so mechanically, mark 1 point of experience under insight. So every time you fail a check, you mark a point of experience in the specific attribute that you just used for that check. And then once you gain 5 points of experience under any attribute, you can immediately try to raise your maximum value.
So if you fail something 5 times, sorry, I'm just writing that down.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the viewer listener.
Yes.
If you fail it 5 times, you can try to get better at it because you've put in the work of failing.
Exactly.
Which, as we all know, is you fail enough times, you never stop failing or whatever. That was in the D&D movie. There's a whole bit about failing.
Yeah.
Take it. Shouting out Hasbro. Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yes. I just did finally.
I still haven't seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying anything else about the company, but the movie was very entertaining and much better. I thought it would be trash, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, this is not product placement, but
No.
I just saw that I can now watch it for free on a certain subscription platform, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm probably going to do that in the next couple of days.
That is why we watched as well. We saw that same notice, and we're like, cool, now it is free.
Yeah.
I would have seen it in theaters, but I couldn't organize my friends well enough, so anyway. Who goes to theaters? Who leaves their home anymore? Am I right? It's 2023.
Am I right?
Live in a borough. So, all right, I'm gonna. So with that result, it's dark. I can see who they are, but I don't know if these are the chaps. Like, for example, do they seem like British? What was the term? Routiers?
Yeah, routiers. Let's see.
Or is that not something I can determine?
It's,
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you got a couple of hits on that, so we'll do the.
Are they talking like this? Oh,
we'll do.
Blimey, fish punter cunt. Are they speaking like?
Oh, you Mickey bastard. That was more Australian, I think.
That was.
Okay, you got a couple of hits on that, so we'll do kind of like a soft PBTA thing, which is on my mind because I just edited some other episodes of ours. But yeah, we'll say you can't make out what they're wearing. The man who's laying on the ground, you can hear him. Like maybe the guy carrying the firewood drops some of the firewood, and the man laying on the ground yells at him. And he yells at him in broken French. But you can tell that he has a very thick English accent. You can't place exactly where he's from, but you've been around Routier. You've these people have been your comrades in arms at one point. So yeah, you can tell this is probably an Englishman who has been in France for some time.
Then I am going to, with the patience of a hunter, do nothing. I would like to continue to observe these three gentlemen and listen to them. Oi, fish, blimey, talk to each other in their horrible patois until I think to Galois from the south of France, they are like Lovecraftian, like deep ones. They're like quasi humans, the British. They just sound just so oafish. They were already like, even before all the shit was popping off.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, so I think my low opinion of them from the wars and fighting against them, and then later, yes, with some of them, did not raise my opinion of them whatsoever. I think I am, just going to wait and see if I can understand, like, are these the specific people with Henri? Do they mention, religious artifacts, relics, magical items,
gotcha,
etc.? And maybe they won't, but like, or do they even mention like, hey, the headquarters, that kind of thing? So I think I'm going to be in the bushes, be in a creeper, and just really try to not do anything unnecessary for a while. And if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. If I'm cold, I'm cold. Like, I don't know if mechanically it's, unless it's like the dead of winter.
No.
I mean, even, I guess there might be like serious problems, but yeah, you tell me.
No, you should be fine to wait it out a couple hours. It's still daytime at this point. I'd say it's late in the day.
Oh, okay.
Not quite.
Oh, I was picturing like the sun had fallen around the wolf time. But
it's starting to set at this point. So maybe this is Vespers.
Yeah, and I might have been right. I think Mons might have come to be associated with dawn, but I think at the time, there are a bunch of words for those things. I remember what you mean. There's like different words for hours in medieval times.
Oh yeah, Matins.
But yeah, Vespers is definitely dusk.
Matins is nighttime. Lauds is early morning.
Lauds. Okay, interesting.
But yes, Vespers, sunset evening. So it is. We'll say it's Vespers right now.
Great. That would be something cool in the book. Just rando thought. I think stuff like that is kind of interesting.
I think it is too. I've actually been considering how you could break up travel by canonical hours. So like a simplified canonical hours where maybe there's like 3 or 4 of them in a day. And it's like if you're traveling for a full day, then each canonical hour you roll to see if you've had an encounter or something like that.
Yeah.
As a way of breaking things up a little bit, I think could be interesting.
Or you could have the real ones and just say like every 2 you roll or whatever, like to give it the verity, but give yourself options. So you could have different levels of crunch. Yeah. So like usually you're jumping several chunks ahead, but you could have smaller chunks if needed. The other thing that would be, I don't know if you've heard of a little game called Castlevania, but in Castlevania 2, if I recall correctly, the monster incidence was higher at night and the monster variety was different.
Yes, yeah.
And so maybe there's also something to do with corruptions and like who is doing what and how the corruptions affect them that could be tested.
That's cool. I like
tied
that.
to the medieval hours. Just throwing out,
just
game design.
Ideas.
All right.
Ideas.
Game design. So anyway, so Galois the Bitten is hiding.
Yes.
Through Vespers, watching these oafs repose.
Yeah. So I'll say, while you are hiding and just listening, maybe you even get like a little bit closer. You kind of creep around on the tree line. You get a little closer. You can hear them a little bit better. You do hear them talking about what they're going to do next. And one of the two guys that was doing the chores earlier mentions, I think that we should just get out of Normandy. I think we should just leave the whole thing behind us. It's not worth it anymore ever since what happened to Henri. And the man who was laying on the ground, he's still kind of like lazing about while the other two do work for him. And he goes, "Feh, you lazy cur. We should just make our way north to that village. We should just sack that abbey one more time. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll take all the denier, all the goods that we need, and then we can make across the channel and we can escape this horrible place."
Are they're talking about doing it just the 3 of them, or like it sounds like there's others around that they could link up with?
It seems like it's just the 3 of them.
Okay. But none of them are Henri because they refer to Henri being Elsewhere.
Right.
So there's the three of them plus Henri at minimum. There's like 4 British gangsters.
Yeah.
Routiers. I guess I wait to see what they do. Like, are they actively doing a thing or just kind of muddling over,
I mean, they're making camp for the night.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like, they're cooking some pottage and whatnot, eating some maybe like manchette bread, some nuts and berries that they've found, and they're just kind of turning in for the night. The guy who's laying on the ground, if you're going to keep just like hanging out and watching, the guy that's laying on the ground falls asleep. He like kind of takes a horse blanket, puts it over himself, falls asleep, and so does one of the other 2 men. But the third one slips off on the opposite side of the tree, and you don't see where he goes.
Question: how quickly do people come back as corrupted?
It is variable, so it's 2d6 hours for each individual person after they die. So between 2 and 12 hours.
So, owing to my high finesse and hunter background, I would like to say that I could sneak over to these 2 fools and slit their throats in their sleep, and then go off after the third and track him, and not lose too much time and not make a lot of noise doing any of that. I understand that might involve multiple rolls, but I would like to say that is the thing that Galois is probably most confident in, is being very quiet and killing stuff.
I think that is very fair. So I'll have you make a finesse roll to see if you can sneak up on the sleeping men. We'll do this one with advantage because they're sleeping,
Well, I also have hunter. I would hope that, I don't know, maybe that's a stretch. But all right, I'm gonna roll finesse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna roll with advantage. Oh, that was a terrible roll. Wow, that was very bad. So I got 1 success so far. I'm gonna roll 2 more dice because I only have 66s. So I'm gonna roll 2 more. 1 success so far. I got a 6. So that's 2 successes, and I also got a 3. Is a 3 with advantage a success?
With advantage, that is a success.
Great. Then I got 3 successes total across 8 dice. Terrible roll, but
whatever. Not great.
Not great.
Yeah, you can also use fervor to re-roll your misses if you want to spend a point of fervor.
Do I need fervor to do a thing later? The reason I ask is, I think if I recall from reading your book, fervor might be used with spiritual matters. Do I need fervor to use the Memento Mori? Not that my character would know that, but I'm just curious, like, how it's supposed to work.
No, you do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I guess, and again, I don't, just because this is the first time I'm playing, I'm not trying to like cheat. You don't have to tell me, but I mean, is three successes in some games is like great, and in other games is like middling or whatever. Is 3 successes here good, bad? Like, is there any way that I would have a sense of that going into this, or not really?
I guess not really. So it's kind of like it's kind of like in a lot of editions of D&D where it's like a hidden DC kind of thing. So it's like I'm choosing a challenge rating for the roll that you're making. So I chose a 4, which is like pretty middle of the road, especially considering
4 successes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Especially considering your finesse score, like a 4, mathematically should be pretty achievable. But that being said, there wouldn't really be a way of knowing that. I guess, that's a thing where like the chronicler or the GM could telegraph potential consequences.
Right.
But
well, like some games there's hidden, and some games there's nothing hidden.
Right.
And I'm used to, like in Stillfleet, there's no hidden DCs or whatever.
Right. Right.
So I think it's interesting to think about like when you want to egg people on to use stuff or not. But it makes, anyway, I've questioned the DC assignment, but so I would spend fervor to reroll in that case, because otherwise it makes kind of no sense, right?
Yeah.
So I only have 2 fervor, so I'm going to spend 1, and does that just let me roll 1 dice, or I reroll all of them, or what is that?
So you can reroll all of your misses in this check for spending 1 point of fervor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I got 3 out of 8, then I'm rolling 5 dice. Okay. Well, that should do it. Yes. Okay, I got a 6, a 5, and a 5. Okay. So that's 3 more successes, so 6 total.
Great. Yeah. So you're able to kind of slink your way over in the shadows, and you make it up to these 2 sleeping men. Maybe you step on a twig along the way and it snaps loudly, but you're able to freeze. They haven't woken up. That's the moment that you burned your fervor.
Right.
It's like you made a little prayer that they didn't wake up and hear you, and someone somewhere heard you. Well, not physically, but spiritually.
I think we cut back to Abbott Matthew waking up violently sneezing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what was that? Sacre bleu.
It pans into the darkness, and then it just shows him like in bed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've quickly reached around and I've pulled a sleeping bird from a nearby tree and like thrown it onto the ground, and they look over and they see like I'm behind a branch, and they see a little bird walking around, and they're like, oh, a bird.
Oh, great. And then they just fall back asleep. They're like, oh, no problem.
Sorry about making this very cartoonish, Chris. This is where my mind goes. This is what I'm picturing.
No, it's all good. When I was playtesting with Jen last night, we also had some pretty fun cartoonish moments. There was like one point where she's fighting this, monster, for lack of a better term, and her character's name was Jean l'Embryo.
That's a weird name.
And
I approve.
She's like fighting this monster. She throws a cudgel at its head, hits him in the head with the cudgel, and then goes, "Hi, I'm John." And it was just like, what?
What? Okay.
It's very funny.
That's a very that's a mixed signals kind of thing. I would say I don't even mean cartoony like cartoon. I mean like I love the Liam Neeson movies where he's an old guy, and he's like got a very boring. He's like, I'm just your average Irish insurance adjuster living in the big city, but since you've kidnapped my wife, I'll like systematically use random objects in this room to break everyone's legs before you can shoot me, even though you're all mobsters with guns and I'm an old man. And it's like it's you know what I mean? It's like shown in a realistic way, but you're like, hold on.
Yeah, that doesn't.
There's like 12 guys there. They would just shoot him.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's the vibe I'm going for. I think Galois like expertly, like in a cool way that doesn't. I don't know that this would work well in real life if you tried it, but like hides, goes over, and I guess I don't even have a knife, right? So I guess I'm using like the edge of my arming sword.
Yeah.
Like I'm being as quiet. I'm using the minimum necessary. Treating this like, I snuck up on a sleeping animal somehow, which is extremely hard to do, other than cats. And yeah, I fucking kill the first guy that I find.
Yeah, you come up to the man who seemed to be giving orders earlier, and as you draw your blade across his throat, he starts to wake up, but he just kind of like silently gurgles on the ground. And as he's thrashing, he kind of moves the horse blanket away, and you notice that he's actually wearing fairly nice brigandine armor. So it's like a leather that's been reinforced with some steel plating on it. Mm-hmm. He's also carrying an arming sword. Like he has probably better equipment than most people that you're going to run into, right? The other man does not wake up, and so you go over and you slit his throat as well, and he's just he's wearing trash. He's got like a shitty, not even like armor on. He's just got like a ragged, dirty tunic. You can see that next to his kind of makeshift pillow that he's made out of maybe like a roll of cloth. He's got like a kind of knotted and scored cudgel. But yeah, you can tell like this man was very impoverished, or is very impoverished, since he is going to come back to life eventually.
He's still going to have that same cudgel. I can't carry all this shit. I think I try to, well, now that they're both dead. So if they're both dead, I loot the bodies. All I'm doing, if that's all they have, right, is taking the armor.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I guess let me go back to the PDF. I imagine that gives me 3 DF instead of 2, perhaps.
Let's see. It should be a variable score for the 1.2 edition.
Oh, D3 DF. Yeah. So I think before it was, before my Gambeson said 2 DEF, now it says D2. If I switch it to the Brigandine, it says D3, but it takes
3 slots.
3 slots. So that will be the end of my slots, but that's okay. So D3 DF and no free slots. And then his sword is the same, like mechanically there's no difference, right?
Yeah, there's no difference.
Okay. Then if there's no difference, I leave it.
You could probably even you could probably even see that yours is like of a slightly higher quality or maybe less used. So it's not like you would get more money for this sword than the one that you're already carrying, or like more trade value out of it.
Well, actually, yeah, that would make sense. So I'm gonna get his arming sword and just give up. I haven't really done anything, so I don't know if I want to give up the ration or the rope. I'm gonna give up my ration and just have no ration, and I'll just have 2 arming swords instead.
All right, cool.
Oh, but that's 2 slots.
Yeah, they take 2 slots.
I haven't played a game with inventory since I played Torchbearer with Mike like 15 years ago. I give up my rope, and I give up my ration, and I now have 2 arming swords.
Okay.
So yeah, that checks out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I have some herbs, a torch, armor, 2 swords, and 11 bucks. 11 denier. I am ready to rock. I'm following the Mystery Brigand number 3, Mystery Brit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being as careful but speedy as I can with my aged but still dexterous, hunter's training instincts. And in my head, I'm saying like, "Here, little Brits." No, I'm probably not saying that. But I'm, like monologuing because I'm bored and it's been a long day.
Yeah,
I'm
tired. So make an insight check for me, and this will be an opposed roll.
Opposed roll. Okay, great.
Yes.
And I don't think I have advantage unless you think Hunter would count.
I'll give you advantage.
Are those once per session or? No. Grant advantage on relevant checks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use advantage because you have a Hunter background.
Okay. Well, in that case, I rolled pretty well either way. I got a 6, a 6, so those would be successes. A 4, is that a success either way?
Yep.
And then a 3, so it's either 3 successes or 4 successes with advantage.
Yeah, you got 4 successes with advantage there. So you pretty quickly pick up his trail. This guy, maybe he's had some I don't know, gut rot, some wine or something like that, but he obviously wasn't being very careful. And you could tell that he's basically just checking the perimeter around this clearing. But you're able to pretty quickly pick up his trail and sneak up behind him without him perceiving you. So he's probably about 10 feet ahead of you. Distracted. Maybe he's like peeing against a tree or something like that. But in the kind of like low light of the now somewhat distant fire, you can make him out.
I would like to, if possible, sneak up and basically, I think what I would do realistically is put one sword down very, very slowly and carefully, like have it completely off and just like put it in the ground, like on the leaves. And then with the other, very slowly and carefully, depending on the timing of like when I spot him and how long his piss is, etc. But like draw the blade. And then I would leap forward and try to, in one fell swoop, cut off one of his legs. So he's like alive but can't get away. And then I will interrogate him. With the caveat that if I notice that he's like a mutant with like iron legs of the giraffe or whatever, then like I don't know that I would do that if I can tell. I don't know that I can tell. From being in the trees.
I didn't tell you the corruptions that these other guys had, but we can get back to that if you go back to the campsite later. You do notice from the kind of low light that you have that the only visible corruption that this guy has is he has some like kind of jagged, sharp bones coming out of his head, kind of Darth Maul style, another Liam Neeson movie. So he's kind of your natural enemy, I guess.
Yeah, but that's not Irish Liam Neeson. That's space Liam Neeson. Basically different guys. Yeah, I mean, I think that's my plan. I think I jump at him and try to attack him and just get with the element of surprise. Get him good where he's not going to be able to react quickly enough, and he's going to be sort of stuck. And even if he's alive, like he's going to be on the ground, hopefully, not able to get away, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you've snuck up on this guy very well. I'm going to say this will be an unopposed finesse attack roll. It's a finesse check like any other. If you are successful, and in this case, so this isn't in the 1.2 rolls, but this is something that I've been experimenting with. Similar to Instill Fleet, You have inspired me. When you're in combat, if somebody's going to attack you, you can choose to dodge. If you choose to dodge, you have to burn a point of your finesse. So your current finesse goes down if you choose to dodge. But that means that you get to do an opposed roll. If you don't choose, then the attacker still has a CR of 2 to hit you. So they can still miss, if they really blunder. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea. So this would be an unopposed attack roll because he has no idea that you're behind him. So it's just a CR of 2. But yeah, you'll roll your finesse and see if you can whack him.
If I get 2 successes. And so in this version, like I have Vitality 3, Finesse 8, Insight 5. Are those numbers generally flexing up and down? And do they have a temporary and a maximum, like health in many systems? Or is that not how it works?
Yes, they have a...
Just out of curiosity.
They have a current or a temporary, however you want to put it, and a maximum score. So your max score is Vitality 3. As you take physical damage, that goes down. Finesse max is 8 as you are dodging and becoming more tired from dodging. Or there are some types of physical damage, like if I were to clip your Achilles tendon or something like that, you would take damage to your finesse. And then Insight... the mechanic I'm experimenting with right now is that every time you use a spiritual corruption, you have to spend a point of insight in order to use it.
Okay, I think that was fervor. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to roll finesse and try to chop this guy's leg off. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, and I already rolled, so I only rolled 6 of them so far, but I have almost all successes. I got 5 successes. And that's 1 more. So 5 plus another is 6 successes.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, you burst out of the underbrush yelling, sorry, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, and you take this man's leg clean off. Roll damage. So that would be, I believe, 1d6 for the arming sword.
The old one is 2d6. Is it now 1d6? I'm just double checking.
Oh, is it really for the arming sword 2d6?
Unless I copied it wrong, but I believe I was just copying and pasting stuff.
Yeah, I have arming sword 1d6.
Okay. All right.
A bastard,
all right,
a bastard sword is 2d6.
1d6 damage. I got a 2. So just 2 damage there.
Okay. Yeah, you cut his leg off. How do you narrate this? You cut the guy's leg. Okay, you don't cut it off. You gash the back of his leg pretty deeply, and he's bleeding out. But he doesn't die from this wound immediately. We'll say he's definitely bleeding out, but he lets go of whatever he was doing against the tree and grabs his leg on top, kind of making a quick tourniquet. But he kind of collapses to the ground and rolls around to see you, and his eyes are filled with terror. I mean, you really shocked this man. He's screaming. He's like, who are you? What do you want?
Oh, hello. What's your name? I don't think I say hello. Sorry. What's your name? I'm pointing the sword at his throat. Like,
yeah. This is a coerced hello. Coerced introduction.
Yeah.
He says, my name is Levine. Who are you? What is happening?
My name is not important. What is important, Levine, is would you like to go to hell and come back like we keep doing over and over again? Or should I let you crawl away? Really, the choice is yours. It matters very little to me. But I am seeking something you may know. The location of it is a Memento Mori.
He says, "Oh, please, sir, please spare me. I cannot become corrupted again. My body, my soul. I can't do it again. It's too terrible a fate. I'll tell you anything you want, anything."
I assume he's speaking British, or he's speaking British inflected French or broken French or something. Or
this guy's just speaking. He's just speaking French.
French.
This guy is French. Yeah.
I just want to know where the Memento Mori is. There is a Henri, I hear tell, has a Memento Mori. It's a thing from heaven. I don't know what it looks like. I'm picturing like maybe a cool big cup. Maybe it's got like a picture of Jesus scriven on it. Jesus is making signs like, "Hello, come to me." Maybe it's not. It's just a normal. I don't know. Maybe it's a ball. I'm like now just fucking with him. Like, what does it look like?
You're just fucking with him. I love it. He says, "Oh, you seek Henri. You seek that monster. You must not know that fate has bestowed upon him the curse. The curse. He is possessed. He is become not himself. He stalks the tower where we were once living." I don't know what accent I'm doing now. Where we were once,
a little Scottish.
Where we were once
He's
living.
from the Scottish part of France.
Yeah.
I think now I'm very like moodily like just very angry, and I like stab him in the shoulder, and I'm like, point the way, like I like no nonsense, no fucking about like where am I going to get this Memento Mori? I need to know immediately.
Okay, yeah. You stab him in the shoulder. He takes a little bit more damage. He looks like he's about to pass out, but he kind of, with his good arm, whatever arm is left after that, he points to the south end of the clearing. He says, "Not even 2 miles from here, you'll find the keep. That is where we have been staying, and where Henri keeps his treasure. I don't know if he has this memento thing that you keep talking about, but he has many artifacts."
He never mentioned a religious artifact that can, reverse immortality, grant final peace, bring the sweet kiss of oblivion. Any of these phrases, I don't know if it's the same in the north of France.
He says, "Oh, yes, he did mention there was a statue, a statuette. It was from Cain, so he said. That's why we stayed at the keep. He thought it was there. He thought it was hidden there somewhere. He thought that touching it could bring about the end of this curse."
Oh, but then the curse got him anyway. So kind of like dying of thirst right before you get to the well, or something like this.
Something like that. Yes, I suppose. Please, sir, can I tend to my wounds?
Yeah. I let him. Does he have a weapon or any weapons that are visible?
Yeah. So next to him, kind of propped up on a tree, he had a bow with 10 arrows in a quiver, but it seems like he put it down to relieve himself before you attacked him.
Okay. I take the bow.
Okay.
And the arrows, obviously. I leave him. If he doesn't have it, does he have anything else that could harm me? Like if I'm retreating?
He has like a cudgel hanging off of his belt.
I get the cudgel and walk over to the bow and get the bow. The cudgel I'm just gonna like throw in the bushes. I just like drag it all away. Like I'm not trying to like equip it. I drag it over to where the arming sword is. I drag all that shit out of the way, and then I very quickly kind of, I'm like sliding through the woods with all this crap, and I find some place to kind of stow the cudgel. And then I guess this is where, the equipment stuff would matter, because it'd be dope to have the 2 swords and the bow. That's a very like D&D video game kind of build. But yeah, that's probably out of, I don't know how many slots that is that I would need. I do want the bow and the arrows, because I imagine that's something I'm familiar with.
The bow, I believe, takes, let me see. You think?
And how much? Okay, so I'm looking. Bow. It's bow or longbow? Just a normal bow.
This is a regular bow. So it's
D6.
3 slots to hold this. But that also
1d6 damage, 3 slots.
Yeah, so that also includes your arrows. The bow and arrows take up 1 slot together, or they take up 3 slots together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess I also, if I can, I would like to ditch the cudgel early and then keep dragging the sword, like even if I tie it to my belt, Yeah. And I'm obviously making a trail, and I'm not trying to go back. I'm trying to basically go through the woods between where I am now and the camp. So if those guys reawaken early, I'm not there. But I go through the woods a while, and after a bit, I also just ditch the sword. But I think I'd be more careful about disposing of the sword, like covering it in branches, like burying it. So I want to end up with my sword, the bow. I still think that puts me over by 1 slot. So I think I'd have to also ditch my torch.
Okay.
So I now have herbs, the brigandine, the sword, and the bow and arrows, and nothing else, and then the 11 denier.
Nice.
So I've thrown the cudgel, ditched the bow, ditched the arming sword, and hopefully have moved south toward wherever the guy I already forgot his name. Fuck that guy. Wherever he pointed me, as swiftly, quietly, but like not trying to run into even more mutated British soldiers.
Yeah.
So do I need to do checks for any of that, or is that all sort of?
I think you're good. You're pretty much in the clear. Like that dude is definitely not coming after you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to kill. Like when I say stabbing it, I was more just like I probably did stab him. I was pretty mad, but like more of like a poke.
Hard,
like I was trying to get him to talk.
Yeah. I only had him take 1 point of damage for that, so it's just it was a slight stab, not a deep stab.
It's a very Monty Python. Like I'm still good. I can still fight.
Very
one limb left. Yeah. So I'm trying to just leave these guys. I think I know where I'm going. I think I know where this thing is. If that it seemed like he was telling the truth from your role play. So I'm just gonna go with I know where it is. I'm gonna head straight there.
That dude was a coward, and that's even written into the module.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a thing where, like, if you harm either one of the 2 brigands that were with this Routier guy, if you harm them and take away more than half of their vitality, then they just book it. They just run. Because they're just like, this isn't worth, like, it's not worth it. I don't give a shit about this. I just want to live and be left alone, kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, you make your way through the woods. I will say, make an insight check, since it is dark and you're kind of off the beaten path.
Yeah. I'm trying to like follow directions in the dark with no torch, carefully, but also like kind of speedily. I rolled okay. I got 3 successes.
Okay, you got 3. That's great. Okay,
yeah.
So you passed that little travel check there. You eventually, after a few hours of kind of stumbling through the woods through darkness, you find yourself at another break in the tree line just as the sun is beginning to rise, which, again, just for fun's sake, it is now Louds. Lauds for those listening. It's now Louds. The sun is early morning sun is starting to rise on the eastern horizon. And as it breaks over the trees, you can see the rays of the sun hitting a tower. It's about, how tall is it? It's about like 85 feet tall or so. It's a cylindrical tower, and you're coming at it from the north, and you can see that at each one of the cardinal directions there is a smaller tower that's jutting out from the main body.
Okay, so it's like so it's pretty big.
It's pretty big. Yeah, I can show you an image of it if you can see it.
Oh yeah, cool. Yep. So it's a kind of squat, fortressy seeming, clearly, standing above the trees. Okay, I definitely am. Same thing, like trying to go there very quickly, directly, but not in a rush to the point where I would alert, potential ambushers.
Yeah.
Very much on the lookout for a mutant beast named Henri, and in my head, I'm like, Henri, hello, is there
hello,
horrible demon of this name?
I do also want to point out it is an hour and a half in. How are you feeling? Do you want to do a part 2 another time, similar to our Stillfleet game?
Yeah. Well, we should also resume that Stillfleet game. I'd love to know what happens with your.
I want to know what happens to Svarm very badly.
Yeah. I love that name. I mean, I think, Chris, that is entirely dependent, which I honestly don't know how much more there is to this Memento Mori story.
There's probably about another hour left that we could play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, why don't we do the same thing? We'll do a part 2. So we'll do part 2 of first time you play Stillfleet, part 2 of first time I play Danse Macabre.
Yeah.
And then we'll, maybe we can do after that, a discussion episode where we talk about some of the mechanical and narrative things that we liked and the worlds and all that.
That sounds great.
Awesome. So this is super fun. And I'm enjoying, the dice pool system makes sense. And I think probably the things we talked about before, it just occurs to me when running it, is that would be hard for new GMs, I think, might just be the historical bit. I think the mechanics are pretty clear, and OSRE without being either D20 or 2D6. So I think dice pools are back, baby. I think they're we're going to see a lot of those. And yeah, I like the world, but I'm very curious about the sort of zombie apocalypse vibe, but like everyone's still around, you know, because it's interesting when you think about the apocalypse. Often it's about the removal of people, and in this case, it's something else. It's this removal of humanity, but like the bodies are still churning through the world.
Well, it does have a zombie apocalypse vibe in that it's the proliferation of bodies, but they're becoming more and more distinctly unhuman over time. Which is interesting. And I agree. I think that's going to be one of the biggest hurdles for running the game is the historical element. But that's why I'm putting a lot of work into building out a settings guide for it. So that hopefully like that kind of like stuff is taken care of on the front end for new GMs.
Right.
And also like, you know, being like that it doesn't have to be set in a historical place. It can be, you know, you'll know that there's like the regions of Normandy, the regions of whatever, Toulouse, Occitane, things like that. But like you can just make up villages and spots within those regions.
Right. But I'm thinking of things that a GM might want that you could provide, which would be like a paragraph about this department, you know, like roughly what is Normandy like?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But also because of several things, Americans who might be primary buyers of your game don't know anything about other countries generally. Sorry. And they don't certainly know about things in the 1300s, 1400s, you know, they're not going to know what's actually happening. And then your game actually does presume that interesting speculative, you know, the novum of like, okay, the apocalypse happens. And so it is actually not Normandy in 1390. It's like Normandy in 1390 ... but with mutants. So Normandy. I think it'd be great to have those little tags, you know, even if they're like bullet pointed, like general thoughts on if they go here, if you want a game that's a more like this or a more
absolutely,
because that's a trope that I like about zombie movies is there's always the enclaves that are like doing well, but they're kind of messed up because they're authoritarian or everyone's a cult or whatever.
It's doing well with a compromise to what we would consider basic humanitarianism, right?
Right.
Yeah, in the
there's ones that are no, and then there's areas that are fully just like everyone is just a mutant and don't go there. So I think that would be interesting to give GMs a sense of like how you having the historical background are setting up those different pathways for the groups to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something I did when I was writing this, you know, admittedly pretty vanilla short module, but like there's an entire background section on Normandy and Caen. Because I was just like, well, what if somebody doesn't want to go south to the Keep? What if they want to go north to Caen? And so I've got a 2-paragraph explainer of what is happening in that city at this time. I agree. I think that those brief but descriptive kind of paragraphs are very necessary for running the game and just establishing the flavor overall.
Yeah, and it might be fun, and then it feels so fun. Like I mean, I think it would be really great. You know, you and I were talking between episodes or whatever, but about, you know, if you released a bunch of introductory ventures and some of them are set in different times or places, but using the same rules and same background, because I think that'd be a fun challenge to write, like a short thing that says, okay, we're in whatever X part of the world, and here's kind of what's going on, and here's the story, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. So I really don't know, and I'm very interested to find out, you know, what happens when Galois gets the Memento Mori. Is that good, bad? You know, it's a very bleak setting. So I'm curious how much you've thought through and what's worked in previous playtests, you know, with the good ending versus bad ending kind of question, if that makes sense. Which is another zombie zombie genre problem in a way.
Right. Yeah. Is there a good ending? What does that even? What does that mean? What does that look like? No, it's interesting. I was talking about this with Jen last night. Everyone who's played and has gotten to kind of like the resolution of at least this quest, it's been so utterly different, just depending on the person who's playing the supplicant. Because there's always going to be some bleed from real life that comes into it. So, you know, playing with somebody who I was playing with a friend who was having a really hard day, having kind of a hard week, and like that was the bleakest interpretation that I've seen so far. They found the Memento Mori, and then they were like, I hold the Memento Mori in my hand and I draw my dagger and slit my own throat, slowly letting the blood gush out. And then like other people are just like, cool, I found this thing. I'm going to go back to the village. And then they like accidentally die on their way back to the village. It's like, oh, okay, great. It's over.
Well, don't tell me yet, but I'm curious how, I guess my question is almost more like what happens the next second, right? Because how do you narrate? Do you know what I mean? That in a way, like the denouement of like, I mean, the Marvel movies, even stupid as we may think them or great as we may think them, whatever, had to deal with that, right? With Thanos and like, you've killed a bunch of people, then some of them come back. Time has kept passing. Like it was like a weird thing to have to write. Mm-hmm. Given the simplicity action movies generally sort of deal with, to have this very complex philosophical, like, wait a second, half of humanity disappeared for 4 years and most of them are now back and like don't have homes. Social relations have changed. Kids have grown up a little bit. And also like some of them don't come back. And so there's like a lot of weird like moments. And I think your game is interesting in that it's setting up, I think, a lot of that vibe of like, what would that really be like, you know, which is not actually, it's interesting. It's not a question of historical fantasy or zombie stuff. I mean, it's actually like a really different genre almost. It's like, it's like The Good Place, you know, it's like a philosophical horror. Yeah. So I should leave it at that. Cause I really want to play through and you know, I think you can see where, you know, Galois said it. I think he thinks this is better than just fighting British brigands and talking about turnips for the rest of his life. So
for eternity, for the foreseeable eternity.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is great. Thanks a lot for running the game, Chris. It's always fun to play.
Thank you for playing.
And yeah, I guess we'll discuss off stream, you know, what we want to do next. But I'm very happy to pick this up and or pick up Stillfleet, whether that's probably as early as next week. Yeah. So we will, you know, get this episode out, and thanks everybody who eventually, you know, tunes in and checks out Why We Roll.
Thanks for listening to Why We Roll. Our theme music is by the brilliant Sam Tyndall and Arpline. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can find us on Twitch and what used to be Twitter at Why We Roll, and on Instagram at whyweroll.pod.
You can find out more about Danse Macabre at timespaceplace.itch.io/dance-macabre.
You can find out more about Stillfleet at stillfleet.com. Thanks for listening.
Every hero strikes out on their adventure for a different reason.
To prove myself worthy of my mother's praise.
To write my own story and discover who I really am.
To prove to my family that I am more than they believe me to be.
To revive the god that has chosen me.
But when the fragile balance of the world is in jeopardy, and sinister forces move in the darkness, heroes will be tested, pushed to their limits and beyond. And it will be left to them to determine if they are up to the task. There is a darkness rising. Will they be able to overcome the challenges and meet this evil head-on?
For my god.
For my story.
For my freedom.
For the world.
To restore the balance. Modified Role Season 2, The Chronicles of Erin, a D&D 5e actual play podcast. New season, new characters, new story. Find us on all the usual podcasting apps or at modifiedrole.com.